Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Rebekah, and in today's video, I have a very, very special guest, my all-time favorite person on earth, the one, the only, Jacob Gallagher.
Joking me.
Love you.
How you guys doing, huh?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Rebekah, and today I have a very special guest.
Pop, pop.
My sweet hubby.
J Mello.
So today, the reason hubby's joining me is because we are quickly approaching our first year of marriage. Did that make sense?
Yay! Perfect sense.
Today exactly, September 19th, is our 11 months of marriage. So we're quickly approaching our 1 year, and we wanted to make a short little video, probably in our marriage series playlist on my channel, and talk about, honey.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about the top 5 things we learned in our first year of marriage. It's been 11 months, but if we learn another new thing in the next month, maybe we'll make another video.
Learning every day.
So we wanted to make a little video about the top 5 things we learned in our first year of being married, our first year of being one. And I feel like we came up with a good top 5 that we wanted to share. So these 5 topics we're going to discuss are in no particular order. So without further ado, let's jump on into it. Did you just do that?
Did you say jumper on in or jump on in?
Did you just wipe that on your face?
Yeah, it
on
feels
camera?
good. It's hot. Like, it feels great on my face. It's coffee, baby.
Honey,
PS
now
out.
you look like you're sweating your pants off.
Oh my gosh, honey. It's crazy.
We're going to talk about the top 5 things we learned in our first year of marriage. And without further ado, let's jump in, honey. These are in no particular order, by the way.
Jumping in. All right.
Okay, so the first thing, I think this is more mine.
Okay.
I think we both learned this, but more so for myself,
All right.
is that...
Let them know.
Stop! One of the things I think is more so for me that I learned is that we can't read each other's minds. What do I mean by that, babe?
I don't know what you're thinking all the time. And even though I know you, and sometimes better than you know yourself, I'm not going to be able to memorize and know exactly what you're thinking. And the expectations of that, we shouldn't ever expect that the other person should be able to read our minds.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that comes along expectation and a lot of false expectations. So if I'm thinking in my head that he already knows what I'm feeling, like if he said something or did something that hurt my feelings or that I didn't like, if I'm assuming that he knows how I feel, then we're not going to be on the same page. We're not going to be able to work through a problem. And then that problem might become the root of something crazy down the road. So that kind of goes hand in hand with communication.
Mm-hmm.
Is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Very much so.
Is there anything you want to say on that topic?
On reading each other's minds?
Yeah, like communication.
Communication is, I would say, is the oxygen of the relationship. If you have it, you're going to be able to survive. If you don't have communication, if you run out of oxygen, your relationship will suffocate. And big thing for me is I'm working a lot. I work every day of the week, and sometimes when I get home from work, after talking all day to these grown men on construction sites and everything, when I get home, I'm exhausted because I work however long I worked, and then driving on the road 4 to 5 hours a day. The last thing I want to do is give a paragraph. And she likes to talk when we get home, and I love that about her.
I think it's important to talk about.
We talk about our
day.
days, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes when I get home, I step out the car and I'm just thinking about laying on the couch or
he's
literally,
tired.
But being intentional, come in and say, hey, even just communicating to her, hey, I'm super tired. I might need to take like a 30-minute nap, okay? And when I wake up from that 30-minute nap, I'll be happy to tell you everything that happened today.
Yeah, and then me telling
if I just come in and I lay down and I sit down and I don't say a word, then that could be a problem. But
yeah, because then I'm like, is he mad at me? Did I do something wrong? And we can start having these assumptions or thoughts. So communicate. And it always surprises me when I hear other couples say like they don't. Oh,
sorry about that. No, sorry.
It always surprises me when I hear couples say they don't really like communicate with their spouse throughout the day, because I think just a simple, like asking a simple question like, hey, how's your day today?
Yeah.
Or, hey, is there anything I can do to make your day a little better? Like, I think those kind of questions go a really long way, and it just makes the other person feel valued, feel encouraged, feel supported, and overall feel very loved. And I think, like you said, that's kind of like the oxygen of the relationship is communication. So I said no particular order, but I'd say that's the top. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Communication is very vital.
I think also, just to kind of jump on a, not really a tangent, but this kind of goes down a different lane, is that when you're dating or you're girlfriend and boyfriend, right, you love to text. I don't know, I used to text her a lot, like good morning text. Well, now we're married, right? We wake up to each other, we go to sleep with each other. I wake up to her, I go to sleep when I'm looking at her, right? It's different. I used to text her all the time, good morning, blah, 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 give her a big rundown. But now that I'm with her, understanding that I might send a short text, but I'm very busy at work. But when I get off, usually I'll call her, she'll call me. It's not that I'm being short whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to be like, why are you being short with me? Because we're both... Obviously, we're both busy, or maybe he's really busy and I have some free time, and I'm like sitting there wanting to text.
Is she on a phone call with Arbonne? We might not know. Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to cover on that topic?
No, I think
I have a feeling this is going to be a long video, but we'll try and
hopefully not,
short.
But I think we hit number 1 out the park, if you ask me. Let's tell them about number 2.
Okay, so you guys know I always make notes for my videos, so he's not very confident that I can wing it.
Oh, we're winging it.
No, I made some
I'm
notes.
good at winging it, but I don't know about you.
This next one, let's wait till you're done with that.
Right on.
So the next one, the next topic we want to discuss is can be very uncomfortable for, I would say, most people.
Yeah.
Maybe not you. I think he's way better at this than I am, which is confrontation.
That's because I grew up this way, though.
Yes.
And oh, good. See, that's better. Let her go when she's going. Don't interrupt. That will give you a lot of trouble.
Healthy confrontation, more importantly.
Keyword.
So
healthy.
I grew up in a family that didn't, and this isn't to throw anybody under the bus, it's just we didn't know how to confront and communicate very well.
It's a skill.
So yeah, and it's very, very hard to learn that skill, I would say. So we would...
Before you tell them this, though, let's tell them confrontation, and it can be bad and it can be good, but there's something in the Bible that I like to live my life by is thinking about, you love someone. It says in the Bible, a harsh rebuke is better than hidden love. And that's what's always on my mind when I'm thinking confrontation. Obviously, confrontation, when you're getting up to somebody, you have a problem, there's so many different ways you can approach it. But you love that person so much that you have to remember, a harsh rebuke is better than hidden love.
Yes.
So if you can say something in love, communicate it correctly, it can work out and grow beautiful into something beautiful, rather than, hey, I'm not going to tell them this thing just because I don't want to deal with it.
Under the
and,
rug.
Then I don't talk to them for 2-3 days because I'm going to give them the cold shoulder, and that's how we're going to do it. Rather than confronting, knowing, getting on the same page, even though it's a hard conversation, but knowing that a harsh rebuke is better than hidden love.
Yeah. And what scripture is that, babe?
I forgot the scripture, but I'll get that for you.
I'm actually curious about that because that's something, I would say that's probably one of our core values, actually.
Sure.
And more scripture, the Bible talks about how the little foxes spoil the vine, and I hope this isn't out of context, but I feel like if one of us were to not confront an issue and like sweep it under the rug, and we think it's no big deal, like we don't need to work on that, we don't need to discuss it, and then that gets buried deep down because it was never confronted, and we think it's something really, really small, but as our relationship continues, that thing might grow bigger and bigger and turn into bitterness, and I could be totally
unaware.
What's the word? I could just grow very bitter toward him, or vice versa, or whoever. It could be any relationship, work relationships, family, friends, we learned about healthy confrontation and how to work through something in ministry school. That was the first time I learned it. I know him and I were raised a little differently when it came to that topic. So,
what it was called, actually, what we learned was called courageous communication.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we approach it. It's called courageous communication.
Yeah.
And knowing that the hard conversations don't have to be a problem. Rather, they can be the solution to the problem.
Yeah.
It's better to communicate openly so that you're aware of what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you argue or whatever it is, you get so deep into an argument and then you're mad at something I said that wasn't even pertaining to what the whole subject was.
And then you forget what you're arguing about.
And
that is something like I'm totally guilty of. We're both guilty of. And I just also want to throw out a disclaimer. We have not perfected this. He is very good at this. I am not. I would say this is something I'm still working on.
I say in the beginning of the relationship, you used to shut down.
Oh yeah,
you used to
I've
shut
gotten
down
a lot
and
better.
get quiet. Yeah. And that's because of her past experiences. She was silenced.
Yeah.
But when you get into conversations, it's not. I want her voice to be heard, and my voice needs to be heard too. But I've never silenced somebody, because once you silence somebody, that makes them feel like they have nothing valuable to say.
Yeah, which creates insecurity, bitterness, and more. And I would say that's a good point. In my past, I was very silenced and never encouraged to have healthy communication or healthy confrontation. So I didn't know how to communicate with him. Like when we were dating, I know you remember this. I would say things like, in the very beginning, I'd be like, why are we not arguing?
We almost had an argument about not having an argument. She was so used to it that when I came around, and I'm not getting all showing off for myself, but we weren't arguing. It was smooth sailing. It was awesome. Yeah. And she got to the point where, like, we haven't argued. Yeah. This is a problem. And obviously, yes.
I thought it was a problem.
We've had plenty of arguments now, but we literally almost argued about not arguing. Come on now.
Yeah, and because I was so used to arguing and seeing other relationships around me be in like this, it was just so normal to me to yell at each other, not get along, not have fun. Like, we were having so much fun. Things were pretty easy. And I was like, something's off. Like, something's too good to be true. Yeah. And I actually pushed him away because of that. So, all that to say, there are good people out there, good guys out there, good girls out there who do know how to have a healthy relationship and communication. So don't push that away, because it is not normal to be constantly arguing. That doesn't mean arguing is a bad thing. Arguing and having disagreements is a really, really good opportunity to have healthy communication and conversation. So that kind of ties in with never going to bed angry. Like, I feel like it all goes under the same topic. If I'm angry or if he's angry, we're sure as heck not going to go to sleep or drive away, or like, I feel like it's acceptable to have like a cool off time. Like, if I'm really, really heated, I'm just going to be like, I need a few minutes.
She's out.
To calm down.
And I'm not like that, because if there's a problem,
and I am,
and it was mostly because of a miscommunication or how that person misinterpreted your communication. 99%
I'm like,
of the time. Snap, let's fix that at this moment, because there's no reason she should go for 2 to 3 hours thinking about something that she received, and what I said wasn't intentional as far as how you received it. So I'm like, I'm going to fix her right now, because I don't want her to go through 3 hours of pain thinking about something that wasn't communicated for that reason.
But that can be a fault.
Could be.
So,
but that's my DNA.
So communicate.
Her DNA is that she needs to separate. She needs to be silent and think about something. Yeah. Because a lot of times when she reacts, whenever, I'm not dogging you, or I do the same thing, but when you react, you say a lot of things that you don't mean.
My emotions.
And then that causes more pain in the midst of an argument. So I had to be aware of this, because I wasn't.
Totally.
I didn't know about this right from the get-go. It was something I learned, that I want to fix it, because, hey, let's get it done. Let's nip it in the butt.
But sometimes I feel like being a fixer can be like a fault to an extent, because if I need to cool off and think about how I'm feeling and process my emotions, and he's like, let's fix it, or whatever the relationship is, I feel like that's not giving me a chance to process, and then I will like mentally shut down.
But that
so
needs to be communicated.
Different. Yeah.
So in the beginning of a relationship, she would just go somewhere else,
shut down,
wouldn't communicate to me, and then be like
cry.
3 hours later. But now I knew, oh, she needs her time. Now she's aware, like, hey, I feel angry. I'm mad at you, and I need some time to cool off. Now she communicates it, which is a lot better for me because now I'm aware of, okay, let's give her some time. Even though I want to fix it.
We've learned a lot about each other.
Which I know I can fix it. I will.
Okay, calm down.
She needs that time.
Yeah.
Right.
So all that to say, we've learned a lot about
confrontation,
communication, and how each of us, how our emotions work. Because just because everybody experiences emotion, it doesn't mean everyone feels the same way. Like, his anger is expressed very differently than my anger, and sadness and all that. Like, it's expressed differently. So I think you will learn that very quickly about your spouse if you are getting married or if you're watching this video. And I think these 5 things we're going to discuss are important for all relationships, not just marriage. I think friends and family. I think I already said that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on. We did communication and healthy confrontation.
Okay, that's good.
So I think we should talk about, well, I was going to say, like, this kind of falls under communication, but more on the other end.
Sometimes it's more important than communication, though, what you're about to tell them.
Listening.
Let them know.
Listening.
There it is.
So when you're communicating with someone... Stop. When you're communicating with someone, it is just as important as communicating the right way. It's just as important to listen. And this is something that we're always going to work on, but this is something that him and I have gotten so much better at on both ends since we've been dating, or since we started dating.
Still dating, even though we're married, by the way.
Yes.
Still gets dating.
I think listening is key, and I think communicating how you're listening is also important. So what do I mean by that?
See, I can't read her mind.
I'm
so
glad
there's
you
the first
asked.
one, but let's see if I get it. So by listening,
Here,
something that I used to do a lot is I'm very long-winded. I can say a lot of things, and I can communicate a lot of things. And sometimes it's like I elaborate so much to her that's like, oh snap! I need to let her.
I don't
talk.
even know what to address.
So listening,
so much.
she likes to be heard. I don't know if this is the common thing. I think it is that the feminine role, they like to be heard.
I think
they like
anybody,
to be voiced. They like to know that, hey, what I have to say, my husband or my significant other is going to listen to, and that it's valuable. So rather than me just trying to fix it and say all these things that I know can work, I need to let her speak so I can listen to what she needs to say, and then I can also respond.
Yes.
A lot of times, like, she tells me this. She's like, "You're just waiting to say something. I can see it. You're just waiting to say it because I'm waiting.
The word vomit, like,
I'm waiting for her to stop so I can go." She's like, "You're just waiting for me to stop so you can talk." But she gets me. I get it. But let's just ask the real question. Did I just read your mind?
Kind of.
Oh, for sure.
What I was gonna say is what I learned.
Pet peeve of her doesn't like this sound. She doesn't like this sound.
I hate it. What I was gonna say is I feel like what I've learned is there's healthy questions to ask, even as the listener. So if he comes home and he had a bad day, I can ask him on the listening end what he needs from me. Do you need me to listen? Do you need me to give you advice? Do you need my feedback? Or do you just want me to sit here and listen to you and let you vent? I feel like that's very important because I know for me, there's times where I'm like, I just need you to hear me. I just need to be heard. Because when I'm heard and listened to,
she likes that.
I feel valued, I feel empowered, and I feel confident as a woman and as a wife. I feel very confident when I am, like, when what I say is valued. And I know it's valued when I know you are listening to me. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is I think there's healthy questions to ask, even on the listening end. Like, hey, honey, before they rant, do you need me to listen? Or what do you need from me right now is a great question to ask. So we actually talked a lot about that in our premarital counseling. And we talked about that in our ministry school because, again, it can work for any relationship. Like, if you have a friend coming over and she's like, about to totally just vomit all of her stuff, I think it's a really good question to ask on the listening end.
Yeah, I think the questions on that is like, hey, do you want me to give you an answer to what you're about to say, or do you just want me to affirm what you're going to say?
Yeah.
A lot of times I want to
good.
give her answers, and I know in my mind I'm like, this will fix it, no doubt about it, but she just wants to be heard, and I think that's kind of a feminine thing that goes on, is that everyone wants to be heard, but especially wives, they want to be heard. And
yeah, I think as a woman,
it's never 50-50. Like, hey, 50-50. No, the relationship's 100% to 100%.
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
Yeah, that?
Yeah.
Right on.
I think it can be seen as a more, a struggle with more women than men, like you were saying, because I think, like, women aren't empowered enough and aren't, like, what they have to say isn't always valued in a male-dominant, whether it's a work industry or whatever situation it is. I feel like we aren't always valued as much, and I think that needs to change. So it starts by listening. The next thing that we're going to talk about, which I feel is important even if you aren't married, and you're in a relationship, is knowing your significant other's love language. Do you want to talk about
Preaching to the choir. That? Yeah.
So, honey, what are the 5 love languages in case somebody doesn't know?
Yeah, physical touch. You got words of affirmation. You got acts of service. You have quality time, and you have
gifts.
Gifts. Yes.
So.
And they change. I don't think mine change that much, but they do.
I think somebody can experience all 5 of them in different seasons of their life, but there's always 1 or 2 that are very dominant out of the top 5. So I'm going to name your 2, and I want you to name mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yours are physical touch.
Love that.
And words of affirmation.
She got it. Yours are quality time and words of affirmation.
No.
Yes?
No.
Quality time, physical touch, then words of affirmation.
Perhaps.
Okay.
This is actually something we talked about when we were first dating. Because I knew I could easily tell by this guy. I think if you know him, you know his love language is physical touch. Because he's loud, he's in your face, he will just go up and hug somebody, like, even if he doesn't know them very well. So that's just how he feels loved. And typically people give off their love language. Like, if somebody's love language is gifts, if they feel loved by receiving gifts, typically that person gives a lot of gifts. Yeah. So, like, for me,
when we were dating, tell him, first year.
What?
When I used to get you like 20 gifts.
Yeah.
I got her like Christmas. I was like, dang, she's gonna like, I'm too good to be true. I'm about to just shower her in these gifts. And I got her like 20 gifts. I'm like, yeah, she's gonna love it.
And I did.
And she loved it, but she, at the end of the day, it was like, oh, spending that 30 minutes and just talking with her about her day was actually, she actually received that better than the gifts I gave her.
And it's not a bad thing. It wasn't that I didn't receive the gifts well. It was just, he had this, I would say, expectation. Because, like, I would say his love language at that time probably was gifts. Or maybe it was just because it was so new. And we gifted each other a lot.
It's just a universal way people like to feel loved, you know?
Yeah.
You can win it out, give someone a gift.
If that's your love language, then, like, that's great. But for me, I don't feel the most loved by receiving a gift. I would feel more loved by him putting his arm around me and asking me how my day is and talking and spending quality time. Like, that's why whenever we have an anniversary or a birthday or something to celebrate, I would rather go out and spend time together, like go on a little getaway date rather than sitting next to each other and giving each other a bunch of gifts. Like, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. But something we learned in this first year of marriage is to prioritize your spouse's love language. So for us, it's actually pretty easy because we both love physical touch. We are always holding hands. Not super into PDA. But I feel like we're always holding hands, or like his hand is on my leg or my arm or whatever, because he knows that I feel seen and loved if he's holding my hand, and I know that for him as well. So it's easier for us, but I'll say if his love language wasn't physical touch, I would really struggle, because if he were to come home one day and like not put his arm around me, I'd be like, are you mad at me? Like, I would just feel so like not loved, but just not, I don't know, treasured.
Yeah.
I just feel very loved by physical touch. So from my spouse, from other people, I would say more so quality time, which is probably why it's like my number one. But yeah,
sure.
You want to say anything on
No,
prioritizing?
I think that's just something that it needs to happen at all times. Is you got to be mindful of it. Like, and it ties into our last point, which is that the days of when you're in a relationship, if you're in a committed relationship, just not it's trendy or this guy likes me, I like her, so let's just get together like the world does now. No, it's like you're in a real relationship where you want to serve this person to see her become a better version, and likewise and reverse to me, so you can grow and build something beautiful in a relationship. You have to let go of selfishness.
Yes.
Once you get in a relationship, selfishness has to go out the door. And people told me that, and I was like, yeah, I'm not a selfish person. But when I got into a relationship, I realized that you know, I just wanted to spend so much time with her, and I wanted to do everything. When you're in a relationship, sometimes things that you want to do kind of has to go out the door, and it's not because she doesn't like those things that you do. It's just that there's more time in other places for what she wants to do.
These birds are going crazy outside. When you get married and you become one, you realize how selfish of a person you are. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing, because
give them an example though.
It's kind of like being convicted. Like, it draws you closer. It doesn't have to push you away.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Of not being selfish.
Maybe like career-wise, I would say.
No, career, like right now.
Okay.
So this video, I don't necessarily want to do this video. I was like, Saturday, it's my day off. I worked my butt off. Like, this is my recover day. And we're spending our day together, and it's been amazing. And then she's like, hey, honey, you want to make a video?
Yeah.
We're going to make a video. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, heck no.
But he's so good at this, right?
At the same time, I was like, dang it, this girl values it so much to do this. So I'm going to step into her world real quick and give her something she likes. So here I am. That's not being selfish.
But you're tooting your own horn.
And guess what? It's a win.
Yeah, that's a good example.
What's your example?
I'm trying to think more along the lines of like finances or / career. Like, before, when we were dating, obviously we had 2 separate bank accounts.
Oh man, this bed is a little...
We obviously had 2 separate bank accounts. And it's very easy to spend your money because it's mine. And it's my money, and I earned it, and I worked for it. And so I'm going to spend it on makeup.
And by the way, we're not saying that if you have separate bank accounts, that's fine. Yeah. I believe firmly that if you're going to be married, that marriage is a declaration in your life. It's saying, I trust you with everything. Yeah. I'll give you everything. What we have is ours.
Yes.
All right. 100%. And that's just a standard that we believe that we're supposed to do. Yeah. All right. So I trust her that, hey, honey, you can have access to the money that we have, and vice versa. I can have access to the money we make. Mm-hmm. Okay. It doesn't matter who the breadwinner is, which is me, but it's okay. She's gonna be an Arbonne VP eventually in like 2 years, so she can retire me, which would be dope. Have a house in California, house in Texas.
Anyway,
you know how it goes. We trust each other 100% of the time, and we communicate. And there's no reason you get married why you shouldn't trust her with your finances. Mm-hmm. And that's a big reason why a lot of relationships fail, is because they can't trust each other with their finances.
Actually, that's one of the top reasons of divorce, is because of finance or like financial disagreements.
Very much so.
Really
is
sad.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when you die one day, you can't take that money with you. So why is it worth the love that you have on earth? Yeah. But yeah, when you're in a relationship, I firmly believe, and this is what I believe and what we believe as Christians and as people that have gotten married, you join into a union of love. Yeah. Literally everything I have is hers, everything she has is mine. Yes. Therefore, finances should be a part of that, and we should share that and grow together.
And you're becoming one, so everything I owned and everything he owned is also going to join together and become one. So, for example, our finances.
How does it go for the selfish thing?
Yeah, we got off topic a little bit,
Okay.
but I was just gonna say, like, when we got married and our bank accounts joined together, I kind of had this reality check, and it wasn't this huge struggle for me. It's just an example. Like, I was like, I can't just go out and buy a whole new wardrobe. Like, I am gonna have to talk this through with my husband, and
Budget.
it doesn't mean he's like keeping money from me or anything like that, or giving me like an allowance. It doesn't work like that. I'm just saying, like, you kind of have to let down those selfish walls and talk things through. Yeah, if you're budgeting or saving or whatever, like right now we're saving for a house, so I'm not just gonna go blow the money. He's not either, so
we're never gonna just blow money.
Honestly, like, every topic we're discussing all comes down to communication.
It does, yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
So I guess if there is an order of importance, that's the number one.
If you can't communicate, your relationship's gonna fail eventually.
Yeah.
You have to communicate how you're feeling, what you're doing, you know, and work together.
Yeah, 100%. So, I was gonna say, along with selfishness, though.
Oh, you're good. We both lost our jobs in March, April-ish. Therefore, our finances were a lot more tighter than we ever thought. So spending definitely had to be communicated, because we had rent, we had bills, we had our apartment, we had groceries we had to take care of. So budgeting became more of an importance. And I'm not the type of guy, I just don't like to spend. Like, I have big buyer's remorse when I get things.
It's kind of annoying.
Sorry about that. I just don't like to buy a lot of things, because I'm future minded. I'm like, okay, we need to get this. We're looking for a house. We're looking for. She wants a dog. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about these things.
Bad.
I'm not gonna go drop something on some kind of car and pay tons of money, even though we just paid off our car. Yeah. Actually, we're debt free as of today officially, which is one of the best feelings in the world, and I really encourage you to tackle that mountain in your life of finances.
Yeah. And you know what?
You're supposed to live in freedom. Go ahead, hit them.
More than that, don't even go. You're hitting this tripod. Honey, you're kicking the tripod.
Earthquake.
Don't go into a marriage if you're not prepared for that. Like, and I'm talking about debt, because thankfully we actually didn't have a ton of debt going into our marriage. Your wedding put you in debt. Yeah, we each had a little bit, but like, you have to go into it knowing that your debt will become your spouse's debt and vice versa. So
don't let that be the Achilles heel of your relationship. Communicate it so you guys can tackle it together.
Yes, and like, I don't know. I was gonna say don't go into your marriage with debt, but
that's impossible. Especially living in California.
Never mind. But what I was gonna say earlier about selfishness is, it's something you kind of have a rude awakening to when you get married. It's like, okay, it's now you before me. Like, me turns into we. And I know we'll probably have another rude awakening when we have kids. Like, because right now we can take advantage of, we can leave right now. We can leave town right now and go spend the night somewhere and not even have to plan it, really plan it out, other than finances. But when we have kids, it's finding a babysitter, or if we're taking the kids with us, it's packing all their stuff too. You know what I mean? So I think selfishness is a huge thing you have to let go of, even if I wouldn't have considered myself a selfish person. I wouldn't have. But it's kind of something you, like I said, have a rude awakening to when you put somebody else before you. So, sacrifice.
Exactly.
Thankfully, it wasn't too hard, because he's so great.
Gosh, why'd you have to make it weird?
I didn't.
We don't have to make it gushy.
Is that all, or do you want to say anything else?
No, we did a lot of things, but
I'm pretty sure that was 5.
Obviously, these times have been trying. Oh, we got a little race car outside. So these times have been so crazy. I mean, we always talk about, like, I talk to my grandpa and I talk about what's going on in the world right now, and ask him, has he ever seen anything like this? And he fought in the war. He was a pilot, and he crash landed on a Fiji island. He survived. His life's literally a movie. But he told me, he's like, Jake, I've never seen anything like I've seen today. All these things, the onslaught and the ambush of all the pandemics, civil unrest. We have, anarchists, and we have people in the streets. We have protesters. We have, peaceful protesters. Then we have people that are just angry and want to make sure they're angry. Yeah. It's crazy right now, and we just want to, these times are trying. And first of all, to communicate what you're feeling. I know a lot of times in these last few months, you know, I don't deal with anxiety a lot. I'm just not that person. But I've been feeling anxious about a lot of things, and I'm not ever that way. I'm like, man, why am I feeling that way? You know, communicate those things, understand those things. And if you do, and there's a problem, then it goes into confronting, you know, and then all these things tie in. But these times are very, very hard. And honestly, we don't even know what tomorrow looks like. I'm just thankful for the blue sky that we have today. But to communicate these things, and this will build your relationship. And by no means am I an expert or sheer expert, or we love gurus
we
at
haven't
all.
even married a whole year officially yet, so we don't
But
consider ourselves
dated
experts.
and known her since the 5th grade. And
we just want to share our insight because I feel like getting married young was frowned upon for a while, like as we were growing up, and I feel like a lot more people.
Generation, yes.
I feel like a lot more people are starting to realize that it's okay to do that and kind of go outside of what the statistics say, and it's okay to get married young. So anyway, we just wanted to give you our insight.
It's okay to
on
do whatever you want to
first
do
year.
with your life. That's the main point of it.
Yeah.
And my grandparents got married very young. I know people that got married at 16, and you're like, what the heck are they talking about? You talk about getting married at 25 in these ages, people are like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you sure you love her? Dang right I do. You know what I mean? Don't waste another moment not wanting to share your life and your dreams with the person you care about the most. And that's what I would say. That's what, that's what I believe.
And so we go on so many tangents because
It's all good. Life's good.
I feel like the reason we go on these rants is because we're passionate about healthy relationship, marriage, family culture. So although we're not experts, I feel like we've really learned about that from the best. I mean, we have amazing pastors and an amazing church that really, really prioritizes like investing
Family
into their
relationship.
ministry at home before they even think about their ministry outside of their home. So yeah, and that's what we want to, that's one of our core values we want to pass on to our children one day too.
Everybody around us.
Well, I think that'll be all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions or
Arbonne too. Tell them about Arbonne. The fistics go crazy.
No, I'm not gonna talk about Arbonne in this video.
Just thank you for your time, man. We hope this video helps you in all facets of your relationships and communication, and and hope it encourages you to strive and do these things with the people that you love. Yeah. Everybody's different. Everybody's raised different. The values that you have might not be the values that they have, and growing together and realizing, hey, what they like and what I like, how I do things versus how they do things is different. And then melting that together, meshing it together, and it can become something great.
Yeah,
so
I think it has
absolutely.
so far.
Dang right.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to give it a like and thumbs up, baby.
Weirdo.
We're debt free.
Yay!
We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.